Hey guys, one of the most interesting topics out there is irons versus optics. A lot of discussion between the two, so today we're going to try to prove it and see what the difference and where the advantages of iron sights and the disadvantages of optic versus the advantages of optic versus the disadvantages of iron sights. Where does that come to play? How does that come to matter? We're going to use the SG timer to figure out all of this. When then really it's all about your hits and your time that's going to tell us the difference, right? So I can do and argue this all day long why one is better than the other, but without concrete results like hits and time that has no emotions or no opinion except that's just straight data, you can't really argue with this. So this is one of those tests that we're going to do today, and you're going to find out exactly where one shines over the other, and then it's going to be a very interesting concept because I'd like to know for myself as well.
Brought to you by Shooters Global. We created the advanced training system and next-gen shot timers to help you progress faster.
So the way I've set it up is that I'm at 5 yards away, close distance. We're gonna check whether the iron sights or the optic shines on this one. My personal opinion on this one is gonna be the iron sights is gonna shine because it's got a wide open sights. I can just point at target versus the optic. I'm gonna have to look through a little window, which makes it seem like I'm a little more constricted in what I see. So I like iron sights over the optic at this distance, but we're gonna find out. I'm gonna push my speed, I'm gonna push my draw, and I'm gonna fire 2 shots on target, so it really tests the speed of shooting and the speed of movement as well, and I'm gonna see my accuracy on target. So I'm gonna push both of them. I have it set to 1 target, 2 shots, and 3-second delay. I should be already loaded. Our goal is to see some sort of sight picture, not a blind shot. That's not a really good test. I can just point and shoot. I wanna see something on target before I fire a shot. So something where it's a flash front sight of some sort, right? So kind of keep the test true. So I want to see some sort of flash red dot as well on the other one. So here we go. There's 2 alphas at 118. There's another 2 alphas right there at 119. 119, 2 alpha, so that's perfect. So that's my time for iron sights. 2 different tests, 118, 119, both in the alpha, all 4 shots in the alpha. So I'm checking my speed, my ability to see whatever I need to see. I'm not shooting blind shots. I'm not shooting guess shots. I want to shoot 2 alphas as fast as I possibly can. So the test is to see some sort of flash sight picture that I think is going to get me 2 alphas. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the optic gun. So now we're going to switch over to the optic gun. We're doing the same drill. I have to switch this because I think this hammer is not going to allow me to do it. Now that we switched to the optic, same distance, I'm going to push speed again, and then I still have the same exact setting, push speed to the point where I see something on target, and then I'm going to shoot as fast as I possibly can. 2 shots, same exact drill. I have 118 and 119, all alphas in the last string. I'm going to do the same thing with this optic. Let me just get my bearing a little bit, my structure. Here we go. See if this is faster. That was a 122, both alphas for sure. Let's do it again. Slightly slower. I think I can do faster than that. 122, all alphas. Let's do it again. That was a 117, 2 alphas. Let's do it again one more time because right now that's losing. I want to make sure that this test is true, that this is actually faster. Ooh, 2 alphas again, 113. So my theory of the iron sights being faster within close range was just debunked just now because of this particular test. All of them were in the alpha. I did 6 shots on this red dot. The first one was a little bit slower than my iron sights because it just took a little bit to find my optic. But here's a negative. If you are not familiar with a good structure to getting your sights with a red dot, you're gonna struggle to get a really fast time. I just happened to, because of years of shooting behind red dot and iron sights, it didn't take me long to make the adjustment shooting iron sights. It's much quicker to look through your sights and just see some sort of red on target. And I was able to see where both shots went each and every single time. The iron sights, I was able to shoot it and guarantee 2 alphas, but they were morely wider because it was a lot harder to track the sights and see. There's a lot more going on. And that's the difference between you have 3 points of reference, front sight and the 2 rear sight, versus 1 point of reference, just the red dot. So it's obviously quicker. So in the beginning, maybe you're quicker with the iron sights at close distance, but in the end, once you start working your development of structure and natural point of aim with the red dot, it's gonna take over just because of the technology, the way your eyes see it, the way you're no longer trying to see anything else but the target and just seeing some sort of red on there. So I just got proven incorrectly by this particular drill, which is really good because I thought one way, and I guess at a certain point, it just doesn't matter. But if you put a new shooter in here, newer behind red dot, they're gonna have a hard time finding that red dot until they build that structure. So I hope that helps. And now we're gonna change this drill to something further and see what happens. I already know the answer to this. My vote is gonna be with the red dot because something further is much easier to find what I need to find on target. So making an adjustment, we're gonna now push ourselves back a little bit, and the further I go, the more I like and tend to use steel targets so I know if I'm hitting it or not right away. I'm gonna maintain shooting the optic for now, and then I'm gonna go back to the iron sights in a little bit. I'm gonna preset to quick stage. I'm only gonna pick 1 popper, and we're gonna go with number of shots, just 1 on target. Same exact thing, 3-second delay time. I'm gonna draw and fire 1 shot onto that plate. Let's load and make ready and see which one wins, whether the iron sights or the optic. My vote's gonna be with the optic on this distance. All right, starting the timer. That was a 116 first shot, hit on target, pretty much center. I'm gonna do that again. 116 first shot, here we go again. Same exact thing, center, 111 this time. I'm just getting more and more comfortable behind the optic. Now let's switch over to the iron sights, and let's see if I can match that or beat that. I'm gonna try to push, but I already have a feeling that I don't think it's gonna go as good on the iron sights versus the optic. Now I've switched back to the iron sights. I'm gonna see if I can beat my first shot on target with iron sights versus my optic. So I got it, same exact setup, 3-second delay, steel. I'm still at 15 yards. 111 is the time to beat. All right, that's 107. I'm really trying to push my speed, so maybe my iron sights may be faster. But that one was to the left of the steel. So instead, the optic, I hit it dead center. This time I'm a little bit to the left of the steel. Let's try it again. If I can be consistent, I'm really pushing speed here, so iron sights will win. That was more center. Ooh, I repeated it, 107. So it's really weird right now. It was much easier for me to find my sights at distance and a lot more consistent in movement than I was with the optic. And that's kind of weird because I didn't expect that. Now everything that what I thought was happening at close range versus here, that was more center. I made sure to make the adjustments to be center because I thought I just got lucky on the first one, but I repeated 107. So now I want to actually go back to the optic and see if I can beat 107 to see if we can see which one is different. Because right now, it's completely throwing what I thought was right and wrong. So maybe today's just a weird day, but we're gonna try to prove it again. I'm gonna do one more shot with the iron sights, and then I'm gonna try to disprove that with the optic. Here we go. I'm gonna try it again. Now it's 1 second. So now I'm really getting comfortable with this iron sight. And that was just to the left, as you can see, just a little bit to the left. There's 2 shots to the left over there, but that was more center in the popper. So 1 second, I'm really pushing that speed, but I'm not trying to be reckless because I need to hit the popper. The goal is to just hit the popper. So that's the big thing there. 1 shot at this distance proves my theory was correct earlier. So we're gonna switch to the red dot, the optic now, and then we're gonna see if I can beat that with the optic. We're back to the red dot. I did it 3 or 4 times, 107, 107, and then a 1 second flat. I'm gonna try to push here as well at 15 yards with the red dot and see if I can hit that mini popper consistently and see if I can beat the time from red dot. All right, the timers are, app's already ready to record. I got 1 shot on steel. Timer's ready to go from here. Let me see this real quick. All right. That was a miss. That was a .95, so I have a little bit of time. So I'm gonna back it off just a little bit. Oh, just a little high, 103. It's much harder to do it with this optic for sure at distance. I'm gonna do it one more try and see where this goes. I'm really gonna just try to hit the plate now. I'm gonna forgo the time a little bit, but sometimes that happens usually a lot faster. Here we go. There's a hit in the center, that's a 103. So, maybe you're gonna be better than me with iron sights at distance, but right now, my iron sights proves that it's better to shoot 1 shot at distance, 1 steel at this particular 15-yard challenge that I just did just now. I think that's gonna be different if I shoot multiple shots fired, because now I have to realign my sight picture on target versus the red dot. I can just put it right back on target as well. So that might be the next test here that we're gonna do. 15-yard, 2 shots on steel instead of just 1. So we'll see how that goes. So staying back here, what we're gonna do now is firing 2 shots at this distance. 2 shots at this distance to see which one will be faster and better. Maybe we'll do 3 shots altogether. 3 shots. Let's do 3 shots. It's really gonna test and prove the ability to return the sights back on target and how quickly I can shoot 3 rounds, hits on plate at this distance. So I got my sights. Now we're not just firing 1 shot, we're firing multiple shots. Here we go. So that's a 186 total. That's a pretty good run. Let's now change to the iron sights. 186 for 3 shots on a popper at 15 yards. That's a pretty good run. I think it's going to be very hard to beat with the red dot, with the iron sights. But we'll see. I've been proven wrong today, so we're going to see and switch over to iron sights right now. So 3 shots on the popper with iron sights. Did not like that because there was 1 miss. So, come on, get 2 in there. I think part about that is I shot about the same rate of fire, except it was 186, 187, except I had a miss on that one for just the first shot. So we'll see what the difference is if I do it again. Now trying to get hits. Golly, that first shot just gets away from me. Same exact thing, 180. There it is. All right, I'm gonna do it one more time. Now it's my 3rd shot that I'm missing. So, that was my 2nd shot that I missed. I'm gonna do 1 more time. It's really much harder to repeat. Once you get to multiple shots at this distance with iron sights, that's where the red dot really shines. So now I'm just gonna try to hit all 3 shots and get a clean run. Oh my gosh, still a little bit missed. That was a 199. That should have been all hits. It just went a little bit high, it skimmed it. Not necessarily a miss, it skimmed the plate up top. I got 3 hits on it, 199. That's the difference there, is that now when we shoot multiple shots, the iron sight starts to get a little bit harder, whether my eyes are getting lazy or I don't drop the sights back down a little bit. I had a good hit in the first center, 2nd hit nicked the top, and I saw it go fly up high, and then the 3rd shot was a hit, and that was a 199. That was my best run with the iron sights. With the optic, I was able to do it right away, 184, 186, and it was consistent. So with that said, we're gonna give it to the optic. Once you start firing multiple shots fired, that's where it shines at distance. So now let's combine the close and far, and we'll see if the optic will still shine or the iron sight shines on that one as well. We're gonna test now the distance and close target. We're gonna test the speed and accuracy all together now to see which one shines on this particular drill. The other one was it was pretty obvious. The one shot, I think the iron sights can kind of keep up with the red dot. I guess that's fair to say. But once you start adding multiple shots on it, the red dot really does shine. Just because of the ability and how quickly we can recognize those red dots. So this one, with that information, I feel like the red dot should outshine the iron sights here, because now we have a close target, a transition, and a far 18 yard target popper back there. So I'm going to start with iron sights. I have the quick stage already set up for one target and one steal, and let's see how this test goes. I'm going to record only shots that I hit. 1, 2, 3. That's a 186, all hits on target. Yep, 2 alphas on this as well. So it's 8-0 hit factor, 186. We're gonna do it again. All right, pretty tough little drill, especially with iron sights. 186, that's pretty fast. Here we go. I'm ready, stand by. That's a 174. That's an 8.6 hit factor. I'm getting more comfortable with the gun, the transition, the drill itself. Let's do it one more time to see it's still all alphas. Let's see it if it improves or maintains the same, or if I find my average. I'm not pushing by time anyway, by the way. I'm just trying to hit stuff. Here we go. I'm going fast, but not crazy fast. Ah, that one I missed. All right, so that doesn't count. So we have 1 miss on popper, 2 hits on this. And that one gives you a 0. 0 on the hit factor. So it doesn't matter how fast. That was a 167 with a miss. So now let's switch over to red dot. So we have the same drill. Now that we're optic, that iron sight drill, my speed on that was a little bit surprising to me. That was pretty fast all the way. I don't know in this particular drill how much faster I can do it with the red dot. I was doing it fairly consistently too, 174 and a 186. So now let's try to do it and chase that time. Still trying to go for hits with that back plate over there. All right, here we go. Oh, I jerked that shot. That was a 163. I'll make the correction. That one was a miss on the popper. Here we go, save. It was faster, but I didn't like that hit. I didn't control the plate. Here we go. There's a hit. 169, all hits on alpha. 8.8 hit factor. So the potential for being really fast with the red dot is for sure there. The more rounds you shoot, the higher the score becomes, and the potential of keeping it at a higher pace. There it is, the 147. So still all alphas. Still all alphas, and now I'm at a 10 hit factor. So yeah, so obviously the red dot has the potential, once you get good at it and time it, to really get after a really fast time. And you can see 174 and a 186 with the iron sights, even just 3 rounds, 1 at 5 yards and 1 at 18-yard plate with a good 5 yard sideways or 5 to 6 yards, 5 meters of transition going to the right. The iron sights, the red dot, I was able to shoot at 147 was my best time. Getting hits on targets, all alpha, and hits on plate. With the iron sights, the best I did was 170 something. And then I think my best was 167, but I had a miss on popper. So with that said, red dot thrives again. Multiple shots, the more variance in distances, red dot takes over. And I don't know what percentage that is. I would love to do the math of like the best and best of both. And I would love to see what the disparity between the two is. All right, guys, here's the conclusion. Iron sights versus optic. I've concluded that with one shot, if your mechanics are really good from the draw and presentation, one shot on each gun, whether it's an optic or iron sight, really not much difference. Where the optic shines is when you start to shoot and fire multiple shots at the target, whether at speed or at close distance or at distance. That's where it really starts to shine because of the difference of 1 point of reference versus the 3 point of reference. It really does make a huge difference then. However, if you're just firing one shot, the iron sights, if you're, again, like I said, if your mechanics are pretty good, you can kind of keep up fairly closely. One of the biggest challenges here that I wanted to end with was mix the close distance with the far distance, where you have some sort of transition now and all of that stuff. Your vision has to play really well on that one. And that one, the best run I had with the iron sights, and it actually even surprised me at how well I was running the iron sights, was 186 and a 174, both at 8.0 hit factor and an 8.6 hit factor. With the red dot, the second I switched, my first run right off the bat was a 169, and that's faster than either of my run with the iron sights. I even tried to push as much as I could. This time around, just to get a baseline, my baseline with the red dot was 169 with an 8.8 hit factor. And then once I got comfortable with it, my best run with the red dot was 147 at 10.2 hit factor. And that's the best thing about using the app with the drill. If I'm comparing data and trying to see which one is real and which one's not, instead of taking my own opinion and thought on it, now it gives me hardened data that I can find over here to the activity. All I gotta go is go back to the date that I shot it in, and it recorded every single one of the ones that I did for that particular challenge. And if I really wanted to as well, I could have taken some video as well to see, really to break down where the speed or the time was lost from either iron sights or red dot. And basically me, as a shooter, I know it was me trying to line up my sights a little bit more with the iron sights as opposed to the optic. So with that said, I don't really have much to say on that one. One shot, you can keep up with iron sights. They're both the same, doesn't matter. But if your game involves shooting multiple shots, red dot, go for red dot. Red dot wins any distance, any day.